Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to the channel. Now, before we get started today, I would like to remind you to like, leave a little comment down below, and make sure to hit that subscribe and the nice, pretty bell before you leave. Now, let's go ahead and get started and hear some of my
controversial opinions.
I know you're so interested in hearing all about that. So, let's get to it. So, what I was planning on this video being for this Wednesday was my lawsuit. I was going to film it while grocery shopping at Walmart, but unfortunately while filming at Walmart, they asked me very kindly if I could leave. Maybe because I was literally
Screaming about being sued.
But like, what you gonna do about it? So instead, I thought I would share with you some of my controversial, unpopular opinions. I wrote down a little list here so that I could remember everything I wanted to talk about. And maybe we'll get to them all and maybe we won't. But I just wanted to start off with a very easy one that I'm sure a lot of you may get upset about just a little bit because it's a very popular television franchise, but you know what, I really don't care. So number one on my list of unpopular opinions, I wrote down The Office is
Bad.
all capital letters. Now, so many people in my life have tried to sell me on this show, and I was able to maybe watch the first season and a half without just completely losing all hope for it. But the first season was probably one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever watched in my life. I think it was only like 6 episodes, and it just really kind of, the entire time I was watching it, I think I was like scratching my neck because I was so nervous for how they were even acting. And also, I think they were touching on kind of a few problematic like things, but honestly, it was probably to bring awareness, aka make a joke out of it. Now, the only redeemable thing about The Office I have ever seen at all is the 1 episode dinner party. That was just such an awkward thing, and it really wasn't like so bad that it made me cringe, but it was so like, they just really did that well. They did that well. I'll give them credit where credit is due. And of course the iconic I feel God in this Chili's tonight, like that's, what you gonna do about that, you know? But we're gonna go ahead and get off of that and move on to my next opinion down here. And I have written down Zodiac for manipulation. Now, you can tell I have Zodiac Saturday, the whole series I've been doing for a couple of weeks now. And I really enjoy truly learning about the Zodiac, but mostly for selfish reasons because I love reading stuff about myself. However, I feel like a lot of people use it to manipulate the people in their lives. I feel like a lot of people, and I mean, I've been guilty of this as well whenever I'm talking to people and I'm kind of like, oh, well, you're a Cancer. Oh my, okay, ha ha ha. You know, like it's kind of to the point where so many people know about the Zodiac, or so many people are interested in the Zodiac, that they'll find that friend in the group that knows a lot about it, and they kind of just throw all of their eggs into that basket without doing research on their own, and they kind of just rely on whatever that friend has to tell them about it. And sometimes that friend will, you know, kind of use that to maybe sway you away from people that they don't like, oh, their 3rd house is in Capricorn. You may not want to be involved with that, hon, you know what I mean? And it's kind of just gotten to the point where I'm like, I mean, placements and stuff, yeah, they can be kind of a bit more problematic than in other areas, but like we can always learn and grow, and what the Zodiac says about us is not set in stone. But too many people are using it to manipulate friends, family, loved ones, people that they hate, and potential friends of the group that they don't want to be in it. So, moving right along, I have peanut allergies. Now, this is kind of one of those things that's more kind of like a, I don't know, because this is something, it's something that people can't help, that they're allergic to like peanuts and peanut oil and blah blah blah. But like, why at this point, with how many like classroom full, like whenever, okay, for example, in my 5th grade class, I had 4 different students that were allergic to peanuts. And not just in the way that it was like they would just kind of swell up, like in the way that they would die, you know what I mean? And it's kind of to that point where if there's like 4 people in my classroom, I know that there's 3 in that one, 2 in that one, 4 in that one, 5 over there. Why don't we just put all of these kids that have peanut allergies together in one classroom? That way the rest of us that want peanut butter jelly sandwiches, that want our peanut butter crackers, that want to be able to bring our Reese's cups to school, don't have to suffer through the entire year of eating dull, boring snacks and terrible lunch, by the way. Like, I remember that was the year that I started having to bring ham sandwiches to school and cold cuts mixed with like mayo, mixed with mustard on wheat bread. That stuff gets so soggy and it wasn't good. I ended up throwing my stuff away half the time because I wasn't going to eat that at that point in the day. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, come on. Why do I have to suffer for somebody else to not die? Like, literally, that's how that is. That's how that sounds. But as somebody who literally wakes up every morning, eats half a tub of peanut butter myself, goes to bed, eats the other half, I love peanut butter. Sorry about it. Now we're going to go ahead and move on from that one. And this next point is tea, because I've found or I've learned that in our current generation, it is very popular to criticize capitalism. And I'll be the first one to say that it's a very evil, very horrible kind of exploitive way of life that could be reformed, yes. But my next point that I have written down is anti-capitalist tweeting from a smartphone. And I think what really makes me upset about that is that these people, I've had people like tell me that I shouldn't drink Starbucks because of certain reasons, and I understand that a lot of these companies are not good companies. A lot of these places are not very human friendly for the people that actually work there. I understand that. But you know what is kind of the same thing, and if not worse, to the point people having to put suicide nets up outside of a factory, is the manufacture of iPhones. But yet all these people want to be tweeting from their iPhone XS about how capitalism is ruining the entire world. Like, why? What are you actually like there for it? Or are you just, using that to give yourself clout on social media? That's what it seems like to me, And by the way, social media is owned by corporations as well, and they're making money off of you using them. So, I mean, how else are you gonna spread your word? I don't know, but like, don't complain at me for the stuff I do if you're gonna do it as well. You know what I mean? Okay. And this kind of goes into my next point, and I say, we live in a victim complex society. And okay, this one may be a little bit controversial, a little bit, as if that wasn't the whole point of this video. Okay, I'm not saying that every point that everyone brings up is annoying or wrong, because there's a lot of things that we need to reform about this planet, this world, this country if you live in the United States, other countries if you live other places. But it seems to me that a lot of us, especially white people, I'm gonna be honest, especially white people, we have to come up with the most random stuff to make ourselves seem like victim. If we're on the more liberal side, it seems like we have to every other day come up with a new reason that we are being victimized in our own society, you know? And it's like, I understand that white people can be victims of the upper class as well, yada yada yada, but it's not like we have to start identifying our gender as a plant in order to, you know, get some sort of victim points to be a minority. You know, it's like, just calm down. You don't have to come up with the most zany reasons to be different in order to, you know, make yourself unique. And I think a lot of that plays into the internet as well, because we kind of live in this world that with the connectivity we have, we cannot like branch out, we cannot speak out about, people are getting canceled for the dumbest stuff. Like, I watched a video earlier that said Jackie Aina is canceled because she doesn't want to talk about Givenchy's new foundation shade range. Like, okay, if she doesn't want to talk about it, she doesn't have to talk about it, you know what I mean? But like, people are canceling others for the most crazy things, and then it's just mind-boggling to me that we have to come up with the dumbest stuff to start making ourselves the victim in certain situations, when being the victim is literally not what anybody should want. And it kind of starts making me think, do people just want to keep, like, I don't think that anybody actually wants change in this planet. I don't think that a lot of people actually do. Like, everyone is out here talking about how, like, oh, well, you know, we should all be equal. I'm gonna fight my hardest to make sure that everyone is on the same playing field by the time I die, blah, blah, blah. But then I turn around and listen to these people talk, and it seems like they almost want nothing to change just so they can keep complaining about the same issues all the way until they're driven to an early death from cardiac disease, from eating McDonald's. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, stop talking if you don't actually have something to say. You know what I mean? All right. Now, this next one is a little bit more lighthearted, and a little bit less, trying to end it off on a, I guess, on a downward note so that it's not all hate all time, you know what I mean? But I said, pop music is dead, and Lorde killed it. This one is probably a bit wild for some of you, but Royals, in my opinion, whenever that song became a smash hit, I love Lorde. She's a great songwriter. She can sing. She hits all the right spots. But whenever Royals became such a big hit and it had that minimalistic music as the beat, I think a lot of people were like, oh, a lot of people in the pop industry were like, oh, well, we need to keep doing that because that's obviously what the kids are wanting now. So I have just a couple of examples of songs that were number ones from the following years. Okay, Lorde Royals was number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 2013. In 2014, the number one song was Happy by Pharrell. Now, how boring of a song was that about how happy we are? Like, that was such a anticlimactic song, and it was also for the Minions movie. Like, hello. 2015 was Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars. That's an outlier in this list, and you'll see that in just a second. But I wanted to highlight that number 2 that year was Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. And any year that Ed Sheeran is in the top 5 of a music chart, it's not a good year for music. I'm sorry to all of y'all fans out there. Don't know how many he has still. Apparently a lot if he's number 2 that year. But 2016 was Love Yourself by Justin Bieber. I remember hearing that song probably every 5 minutes I got into a car. But yet, if you ask me today with a gun up to my head to sing that, I couldn't, because that's how unmemorable that song was to me. I remember the Halsey version better, and if you know me, that's very much saying something. Okay, yeah, let's move on from there. 2015, Shape of You, Ed Sheeran. We've already talked about Ed Sheeran, so we're just gonna go straight along to 2018, which number 1 that year was God's Plan by Drake. We all know Drake. He's known for the melodramatic hip-hop music, the melodramatic rap music, melodramatic trap music at this point. And it wasn't... Where are the bops? Where are the bops? Ever since 2013 with Lorde, I don't know if that was necessarily the thing that finally shoved pop music off the cliff or not, but in my mind, that's whenever I noticed a pivotal change, whenever we started having artists that were writing bops prior start making country-influenced self-titled albums and stuff like that. For example, Miley Cyrus had her whole country music thing right after Bangers, and Bangers was a masterpiece. Let's get that straight, head on. Lady Gaga releases Joanne after Art Pop. Like, Art Pop was the iconic album of my life, if I'm being honest. And then we get
Joanne.
Alright, and then after that was Justin Timberlake, and then Kesha, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on and on, and I'm just like, when are we gonna get back to music being fun? When are we gonna get back to actual iconic music, as opposed to this filler that the radio plays that makes us want to put on our aux cord? It's almost like they're trying to kill their own industry at this point, but who am I to say anything? You know what I mean? But anyway, that was the last unpopular opinion I had for this week's video. If you want more, because I have several more, let me know down below. If you like the video, give me the thumbs up. And like I said before, subscribe and ring that bell. Now, I love you. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You're the best that you can be, and you're only getting better. And I'll see you Saturday for Zodiac Saturday Water Signs. Mwah. Bye.